Welcome home. We are WNST, Tassel, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We are positively eating delicious birthday pizza. It's getting a little cold here. This is the Hawaiian with pepperoni. They have brought me crab cakes. They have brought me crinkle-cut fries. Look at this. It is the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. Sharon is here to help us clean up the mess. Michelle is here. Brett, where's Brett? Did he, make the food? John Keller is here from Arkansas. We have Luke Jones here. I gave Brett's seat away because Luke drove all the way from Pennsylvania via Owings Mills, courtesy of Jiffy Lube Multicare. He brought these Raven scratch-offs for me to give away. And a lot of people don't know. Pizza John, did you know that Crab Cake House? Are you aware of this or no?
It's the first I've heard of it.
First you ever heard of it? Well, crinkle-cut fries, proper gravy. And that's not like a Gucci-looking crab cake there. That's a pretty good-looking crab cake. We're at Pizza John's. We're in Essex. Luke is here. Why is this your favorite restaurant? You have a whole Essex background, right?
My dad grew up right across the street.
What years?
Let's see. I think he was born in 51. I think they moved in there probably in the early 60s.
This started in 66. It says so right on the menu.
Right. I mean, he was a teenager, and
this was his place.
The original place was literally a counter, the kitchen, and
a line out the door.
I mean, what it's become is amazing. Even since I was a kid, but back then. So
you remembered as a kid?
So yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay.
Absolutely. So I mean, we make it here once or twice a year, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, depending on the year. And this was just the place to go. I mean, yeah, you'd have other pizza and there's chains and all that, but Pizza John's is special.
That's it.
It was special.
I call it the Ruth Chris of Essex.
That's
what I call it.
My grandparents lived there. They passed. My grandfather was 2010. My grandmother in 2008. And they lived right across the street until their passing. So this was always the place. I mean, there was other good pizza places in Baltimore. I understand that, but Pizza John's was number one.
Now, you have met John Keller of Arkansas, my childhood friend, one of my best friends in the world, who only flies in once a year.
For your birthday.
Once or twice.
For my birthday. Once or twice a year, you're here. You live in Little Rock. We know this.
Yeah.
You and I have convened in all sorts of places. You've been at Raven events. You met Luke in Nashville, I think, right?
Or New Orleans.
New Orleans. Super Bowl, all right. Yeah. But you have been a part of a lot of our parties on the road, real Ravens fans. Too cheap to afford the $300 tickets when Washington's here this weekend, so we're going over to Coco's to get some crab cakes later as well. But Hells is my nickname for him because he raised hell when we were young. And that was not the nickname I gave you, but how many people call you Hells besides me? Good number.
Yeah,
good number. All right, that's fine. So I call him Hells. So Hells is you're with history here. Because I'm going to tell a story about you that you don't remember that I remember. Oh. Are you ready for this?
That's always fun.
I'm not sure I'm ready.
This involves my first ever radio show. So this is back in 1992, and I've told this story, and I know I've told you over beer, Luke, and I tell Kenny Albert every time he's ever on. It's a hockey story, Leonard. You'll like this one. Kenny Albert and I were doing radio together in December 13th, the first day I did radio with Kenny, and at some point in January into February, Jerry Coleman was sort of running around as a part of it, and there was a Friday night when Kenny and I were doing the show, and his dad was coming to Baltimore to see him broadcast the game, to be with his son. So Marv came down and sat in, and Kenny said, "My dad's coming down on Friday. We're going to do the show together." And Kenny's dad walked out on me at 6:05. And he said, "Nestor, it's been good meeting you. I'm going to go see Kenny now." I'm like, "Marv, I don't know how to do radio. I don't know what I'm doing." And he said, "Nestor, you're going to be fine. You'll be fine." He walked out the door. Fantastic Fred Robinson was my board op at the time. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I thought, I'm going to call my three best friends, and I'm going to have them call me and do 15-minute segments. So I called Mike Fountain, I called Kevin Eck, and I called John Keller. And I said, "Dude, you need to call at 6:10 and stay on with me until 6:25. And I said, "You need to call at 6:30 and stay on with me till at least 6:40, 6:45. And then John Raffalidis is going to call." So I had callers because this is WITH, 1992. Camden Yards isn't even open yet. Glenn Davis was still going to hit 40 home runs that year. And you were one of the first callers to 33 years ago, Hells. How about that?
Who knew it would last this long?
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody.
You totally should have given him a really tough question and then said, "Oh, hang up and listen."
Yeah, right.
Just to mess with.
I don't
him.
even
That
know we
would've been
talked
great.
about it so long ago.
Probably the NBA, something like that.
Who knows?
Brett, sit down here, man. Brett Steele, we're all confused. We're all mixed up. He's trying to send tweets out. You're nervous, aren't you? You want to sit down?
No, I'm okay.
You're looking at the injury list. It's a Friday afternoon. We're pretending football doesn't exist.
That's what I do, though.
Brett Steele is here. So he's already told the story about how his dad grew up across the street in the 60s. And this place, opened in 66, right? I mean, give everybody the whole history of Pizza John's. Well, I got you on now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can barely hear.
Yeah, now you can hear.
Now I can hear. Yeah, so
got a professional running the board here.
Yeah, so John Caruzzi came over in 1950, I believe, from Italy, and worked around different bakeries and ended up at Squire's Pizza over in Dundalk. Where
all good things began in Dundalk.
No complaints, because
50% of this crew here is from Dundalk.
We're dear friends with the owners of Squire's still. Actually, one of their
Lorenzo
still works at Pizza John's actually after he retired from Squire's. So anyway, long story short, John.
Are jokes still bad, Lorenzo? Jokes
they're
still bad?
They're horrible.
They're terrible.
They're dirty. He tries to make them dirty.
They were terrible in the 90s.
They're still pretty bad. Anyway, so John came over here with $100 in his pocket from Italy and putzed around for about 15 years, and then decided he wanted to open his own place and went to the owner of Squire's. Well, he was working there. And he said, "Here's $1,000." Gave John $1,000 and said, "Just don't do it within a certain amount of distance of
go to Essex and do that. Go across the bridge."
So he came to Essex, found a little place up the street, 133.5, and opened up just a little shop. And then his other two brothers, Peter and Tony, came over a few months later, and they just kept working. That's really the whole story.
It's a good life here in America, right?
That's the whole American dream, really. I mean, in a nutshell, they just came over and did what they wanted to do. And it worked out with hard work. 18, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for many, many years.
Well, we're in the birthday room. It's Luke's birthday. It's
Happy
Leonard's
birthday.
birthday. Hells, when's your birthday?
April.
Yeah. All right, we're going to celebrate right now because you're here.
Half birthday.
Half birthday. There you go. All right. They do that. People come from everywhere to come here or know about this place, and now you ship. And that's something he's nodding. He's in Arkansas, right?
No, I've gotten pizzas shipped to Little Rock from here during COVID.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild during COVID.
How about that?
This room that we're sitting in.
See,
you
you think he's here because he's my friend. He was already coming here. He
That's
told me
awesome.
I'm going to Pizza John's. I'm like, I'm doing a show here. So here we are.
Yeah,
Well,
got
this
pizza
room
shipped.
during COVID turned into a shipping room, and we took it over. I brought 2 tractor-trailer loads in from Arnold Packing. Little plug to them.
Sure.
And we just filled this whole room and literally went through, and we had to shut down the shipping the first day that we opened it because we didn't have boxes because it went off so well. It was a Sunday, and we hit the button and sold out. We didn't sell out product. We sold out of boxes to ship with. and then with all the backups and everything, we got ourselves back up and running. And it's, slower now, but it's consistent where we ship, anywhere in this continental United States.
Nice. Well,
That's for you.
I've never had. This is I got a trucker hat. That's a good looking.
That's a good looking friggin' hat. Yeah. And it took me a long time.
I'll take it if you don't want it.
To get it in.
Throwing it out there.
There you go.
It took a long time to get them in stock.
Tell everybody how much ish I give you about wearing gear that's not WNST.
It's not
I
so much
try
that,
to get him
it's just trademark
sponsored gear.
Stuff. I mean,
well, now you've got a proper. Now I must
I'll
say,
be wearing this
hold
every
that
day.
up and
No,
tell
that's a
everybody
nice
in
hat.
Radiolandia what color that hat is.
Colors.
Orange.
Everything here was purple for a while. Now it's orange again,
Well,
which may really play into where we're going with this conversation.
And stock stuff, okay? I wanted to have these back at spring training, and they were out of stock until like a month ago. This exact style hat. I did have purple. I sold out of them. I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, but I did have the purple.
Well, it's
hats.
that season, right?
Yeah. So anyway, it's all good.
Well, Hal's is down in Arkansas, watching via satellite, and this guy's on our social media all the time. And the Orioles thing, does it get to you from being far away?
Yeah.
Because you're a Raven guy through and through, but you're originally you and I went to Oriole games.
Yeah, always, grew up going to Memorial Stadium and just taking the bus there, just like Nestor did, and just grew into.
I got to get you on mic. There you go.
Sorry,
there
no,
you go.
I grew up going to Memorial Stadium. That was everything. The Orioles going to Memorial Stadium and everything, but I love it all. I follow everything. I mean, I'm probably I like the Ravens and Orioles, and my third best team is Liverpool Football Club in England. So I'm all over the map when it comes to sports. But I can tell you what we don't have in Little Rock is gravy fries and that crab cake.
Yeah, well, right. He eats his face off and then he gets on the plane here. You know?
Okay, I didn't see there was a fork there.
No.
We have real silverware, too.
Now, Luke, you're not going to eat this because it's got pineapple, right? That's weird for you?
I'm a pepperoni and meat sauce guy.
Oh, yeah.
I can do both at the same time. I can do pepperoni, or I can just do meat sauce, but always that.
Yeah.
Always that.
Well, nobody knows you have a crab cake, right? So this
That's
is
right.
for us. And I didn't know they had waffle fry.
That is my mom.
Cakes. Go ahead.
This is crazy. My mom doesn't love the pizza here.
Okay.
So the rest of the family loves it, so she's always out of luck when we want to get it. She probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, tried the crab cake sub, and either that or the cheesesteak, that's her go-to. The rest of us get pizza, and
Cheesesteak's
she's
good.
known for a long time it's a good crab cake here. So I knew it, and if anyone had ever asked me, I'd say, try it. It's
What's
very
your
good.
girlfriend's name you brought from Arkansas?
Sarah.
Sarah.
There's your pump.
Sarah's eating manicotti over here.
Our manicotti is
I have
excellent.
never had the manicotti here.
That stuff shells.
That stuff shells?
Yeah,
See, I don't even know what she got.
They're so similar.
She
The
loves
two-
it.
the-
Well, I mean, I got the menu here, and Leonard did the last segment, and this is my cross to bear. I get the same thing every time. I get the Works pizza. We get half onion, half green pepper, because my wife and I like green pepper. I don't like onion, vice versa. I get a cheesesteak, and then the crinkle cut fries when I'm here because they're hot, and you got to get them with the proper gravy because this is the way you do it on the east side. Do they don't do gravy with French fries in places like ours? That's a Baltimore thing, right? Like
Definitely a
really?
Baltimore thing.
How is that? It's potatoes and gravy.
Exactly.
No, you can't beat it.
Salty, delicious.
Salt, that's salt, exactly. And, yeah.
I was going to go to yoga class, but he's dragging me to Coco's. They're a sponsor. What am I going to do? So I'm having this is one of two crab cakes today. But for your menu, I mean, people get pizza like Luke's said. My mom doesn't love pizza or whatever, or Alan McCallum who doesn't eat cheese. Freak. But nonetheless, he doesn't eat cheese. He's not allergic or anything. He eats cheeseless pizza.
Okay.
He's called cheese evil.
Hold that right there.
It's wrong.
Pizza John, Mr. John Caruzzi, my wife's uncle, the founder of this place, doesn't eat cheese. I swear to God.
You ever been to Philly? You ever been to Philly?
has tomato pie.
What is that? That's trash.
No, he doesn't eat it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the consistency of cheese, but he's Pizza
Wow.
It's a true story.
That's great.
That's a true. He
That's
comes
great
in
to
and he
know.
gets a pizza.
We can
a
drop the
small
mic now. We
pizza
can go home now.
with
The
sauce,
stuff you learn when you do the show here.
the works with anchovy and no cheese.
Do you do that Philadelphia? What do you call it? Tomato
I'll do
pie?
it.
You'll
We-
do a tomato pie?
We do anything you ask. You just build it. Tell me what you want. We make it. We make anything.
Listen, I want you to
gotta
name
have-
this
If I have
pizza
the
after
stuff.
me. I want you to call this the Dundalk Venezuelan Special because I'm lying. I'm making this up. In my country, we put the pepperoni on top, but I'm not doing that. So I mean, this is just the way I like it. I like a Hawaiian pizza with pepperoni. It's very important the pepperoni. Now you say the bacon. People do
Unbelievable.
bacon.
It's unbelievable.
Is that Canadian bacon or ham?
No, that's imported ham
That's
from Dundalk.
It's actually
Gotcha.
Polish.
We went
ham,
through this.
but there's a lot of Polish
Polish
people in Dundalk.
So it's imported from Poland. Okay, it's Polish ham.
Well,
Highlandtown.
Well, that's what this week's is. It's imported, but this time, right now, it's from Poland
Well, I listen.
or Danish. Well, same thing.
This is the other pizza I get, and we're down to this. He won't eat it because it's got pineapple on it. John won't eat it because it's got cheese on it. I eat everything here.
I eat everything too.
I'm good. But there's so many things in this menu that I have never ordered, and I don't ever think to get the pasta. But you said the chicken parm. You said the veal parm.
Or if you can't have, if you're watching what you eat, we do the grilled chicken salad, grilled chicken Caesar salad, very good.
I had a chef salad here last week.
Those are incredible, but not, the grilled chicken's a little bit healthier for those that are watching.
That's a good point.
We're watching what we
Said all these lunch meats in there.
All the
Yeah.
processed meat.
We have a gluten-free crust. We have a cauliflower crust as well for the people that can't have the gluten or have celiacs.
There's a lot of people.
And we are very conscious. We will wash, go back there, scrub everything down, and make sure that there's no allergens in the people's food if someone requests that. So,
Jackie does a cauliflower crust because it's low.
Oh, it's cauliflower. Okay.
and people bring in their own cheese sometimes because they can't have they can have that plant-based cheese or
yeah.
whatever it is. So we will do that for people.
Wow.
We're very accommodating.
All right. Well, birthday parties here.
Yep.
You ship. Am I leaving anything out?
We sell
the
whole-
waffle thing. I haven't talked about the waffle
wait
thing.
a minute. We sell wholesale to ShopRite, the Klein family, and also to Wise Markets.
Oh, tell him in Pennsylvania.
Richardson's,
You can get Pizza John's.
New Freedom Roasting. You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
They sell our pizza. They're open Wednesday to Saturday or Sunday.
They are. from what I understand, they're closing later this year.
You know what? Because they lost the lease or
right,
something.
Exactly.
But
I love that place. But
they're thinking about finding another place. I don't know. But
my sister will be happy to hear that because she loves that place.
But they're a good customer of ours. You know, once a month they'll order, a few cases of wholesale, the small and large cheese and pepperoni, bake at home. And
absolutely.
During COVID, we picked them up. That's when we started.
You got all those take and bakes. You can just grab a bunch of them.
Exactly. Or Gershbecks. They sell them at the Gershbeck stores. Richardson Farm sells them. Growls, Eddie's. They all sell. Wine Merchant. They all have our pizza.
Okay. I mean, I come here. I drive to Essex.
But I'm trying to make it convenient for, get closer to where you live.
It's always convenient, but you know what? Then I have to come here to get the real thing, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
We talked about this.
Yeah, and it's so much better.
I like the take-homes.
The take-homes are good, but they're not the same. It's not the same because your oven's not.
Exactly. I don't have a pizza oven.
It's all about the oven.
Right.
And the surface that you put that pizza on.
I got a stone that really kind of helped. Pizza stone, magic stone.
Has to be the same temperature as the oven, 500 degrees. Do not put the pizza on a cold stone, or it's going to be white on the bottom.
Yep.
I know that. You got to preheat the stone.
I'm telling you, listening.
Okay, all right.
Audience.
Well, I don't want people having crappy pizza, especially not your pizza.
Exactly.
You bring it home, you got to make it the right way.
Exactly.
All right.
Anyway.
Did I cover everything on the pizza?
I think so.
I was going to talk Orioles with these guys.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, you guys talk Orioles because it's Friday or
it's
Wednesday. What's today?
Today's Friday. It's Wednesday. It could be any day you want it to be.
It's any day you want it to be.
It's Friday.
He's trying to sell that it's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
I knew what
you were doing.
Monday's my birthday, but that's all right. I've already eaten.
But the show is on Wednesday.
Listen, before I let you go, I'll say the same thing to Luke. I came in here early. Sharon's hitting me up. Nobody's here. Leonard's not here yet. One of my listeners, Dean, was here from the neighborhood. We were talking. He's having a beer, asking me a bunch of questions. And I ordered this pizza before we did anything because I was a little hungry and I just wanted to have something to show on the air. And this pizza came just to me. I had it all to myself. And it's piping hot right out of the oven. And I pulled it, and the cheese got all, and I'm thinking, and I ate it. And the first bite I had, it was like a little hot and a little cheesy and gooey. And I'm like, it doesn't taste this good at home. Like even if I take it in the box at home and I put it in the oven, he'll say, yeah, fine. But like, there's something about being here when it comes out. It's just a little bit better, but it's better here. It really is. So that's why I come.
One more thing, everyone needs to check out our Halloween shirt. It has a Beetlejuice kind of theme to it.
I just saw that.
Isn't it
really cool?
It's a limited edition. Those are things be looking for, and coming up every holiday. We're going to have some sort of cool thing coming out, and check out the rest of our merch as well online. It's really cool stuff.
Well, Luke came here for the pizza and for the crab cake.
Yeah,
for
but
his
I'm
mom.
selling merch.
But you got merch.
Our merch, I love it. Richardson, it's all good stuff. Puppy love stuff. We give back.
Dude, Luke took one look at that hat. He's never – you know how much – let me listen, he and I have done 15 Super Bowls together, right? Do you know how many people bring free crap over to our table? Like all the time. He's never said, I want that. It's the first time he's ever asked for
it. It also has to be – but also it's quality. It's Richardson.
Right. It's great colors.
You put your stuff on the best.
It works.
It looks like a trucker hat.
MD brand printed them for me. Amazing company.
They look like they come from Dundalk. Trucker hat.
Actually, MD Brand's located in Dundalk.
Yeah, see,
and he's the originator of Big Johnson shirts, if you remember them from the 90s.
I do remember Big Johnson shirts.
Well, he's the one that makes all the stuff
surfboards and all that stuff?
He still makes them. Anyway,
right.
I got to go to work.
Brett Steele's here. He's saying goodbye.
Thanks,
Thanks for your sponsorship and love. And
I'll toss off to you.
And this is one of the places I should – well, here, I'll mute your mic. You could drop the mic now if you want. Actually, I just muted Luke's mic. But he's actually called me this summer and said, we got to be on WNST. We got to be back on the air with you. Come on out. Let's do this thing. Let's do a show. So here we are. My buddy John Keller is in from Arkansas. He is our visiting champion. Really one of the first guests ever on the sports forum before it was the Budweiser Sports Forum back in January 92. Now, you moved to Arkansas on literally the day the Ravens won Super Bowl 35, right? That's how long you've been gone, right?
It was our first week in Arkansas. I watched the game from a hotel room because we didn't even have an apartment yet. We moved the day after the AFC Championship game. So the moving trucks came. We moved down to Arkansas that week. So, and then literally watched the Super Bowl from our hotel room that Sunday.
And you've been there 24 years.
Since, yeah, it's going on 24 years.
So every year we try to get together. We're getting a crab cake today. My buddy's here. But we're going to talk some Oriole baseball here. What do you from far away make of all of it? The empty seats, the new owner, seeing the team get relevant enough that it's 7 o'clock in Arkansas where it doesn't come to you. You watch them probably play 120 games this year, I think, right? I mean, you're an out-of-town app guy. You're all of that.
Yeah, I don't catch a lot of the games. I mean, I will catch them when they're on national TV and things like that because I don't buy the package or whatever to get the games. But I still follow them online, social media-wise, and I love the team, and I love the youth, and I love the direction it's going. The whole empty seats thing, that doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. But I see the side that it's kind of depressing to see the game not sell out. But I think it's a Major League Baseball thing. I mean, it's another ring of playoffs. They priced the tickets really high, I think, for a wild card round, and it's like people only have so much disposable income, and if they're waiting, they're praying what happened this year didn't, what happened last year didn't happen this year, and we get to the divisional series, and that's where they're going to spend their money in the championship series or whatever. But obviously it didn't work out. It was another, depressing well, they scored 2 runs.
Well, that's the hardest part. Is it? So there really is a thought, right?
One. Yeah, that's right.
Well, Luke, I'm going to fix our camera here. Luke, you can speak to this a little bit. Is that we've seen some changes here this week in regard to their business. You and I have talked about this. Greg Bader's going to run Masson now. God bless him. Katie Grigg's going to run. God bless her. Rubenstein was out. He got picketed last night by climate change people at this event. I got pictures of it, and people told me about it that were there. The baseball offseason, when you thud like this, when there's new ownership and they're trying to breathe new life into it, when you've had these empty seats that really were, say what you want, it's a little bit of an eyesore, and it's bad optics. Whatever it is, it's bad optics.
Sure.
The angry season ticket holder, all of that aside for this offseason, we have a real going concern here. You and I have not talked Orioles baseball much in November, December, January, because there is no expectation. There was no expectation that they would ever spend any money beyond Ubaldo Jimenez or buy from the bottom shelf or the second to bottom shelf. In most cases, couldn't even keep their own guy in Machado. All the uncertainty, all the crap with John Angelos, all the crap about the money, all that was cloudy. Now they're in a place where new owner, new leader, players, stadium money's there, team's really competitive and really good. Not good enough, but really good. Like, better than it's ever been. I think we can all agree that what they have as far as the components of a baseball program to compete against $250, $300 million for a little while, for a couple of years, they're going to have that. But at some point, you're going to need to buy the app. You're going to need to be the out-of-town guy supporting this. Everybody in Essex is going to have to buy the app. Your mother's going to have to buy it. Your sister. That's what's going to fund this. What's going to fund the Orioles are asses in the seats, whatever the sales and products and all of that stuff, and then the media part of it. Whatever Masson morphs into, whatever Greg Bader's going to grow it into, because he's in charge now. I'll put him in charge, too, since he's in charge. But how will they fund this to be able to be what we've seen San Diego be the last couple of days? And San Diego's different. It's one sport town now. All the Chargers' money's gone, right? They don't have any NBA, NHL, any of that. For fans, I'm talking about. But what we've seen in San Diego, that sort of enthusiasm, even in Cleveland and Detroit, much bigger markets, especially Detroit's a really big market. We're kind of like this Nationals thing, now that Peter's dead, everything he talked about at the barn back in 1997, that's a real thing as to how this franchise is going to financially be able to compete using our money. Our money. The people that love the Orioles are going to be the ones that finance it. I think that people get pissed at me about pointing at the empty seats and think I'm just being a jerk. I'm trying to look at it from Katie Griggs' perspective and saying, what do I have to operate with here, and how are we going to fund $120, $150 million? And that wouldn't even be enough. You would agree with that, right? I mean, that's going to be top 10, top 12, right?
What, 120?
Yeah.
That's below average in this day and age. I mean, your average is around 160 at this point. Go look at it.
That's why I'm asking you.
And I also understand that it's, if you want to talk about median versus mean and all of that, but teams spend money. It's, where the Orioles were a couple years ago, as they were finishing the 5-year plan for the rebuild and everything. I mean, you're talking about Oakland. I mean, that's the kind of territory. I mean, even the Rays are spending not a lot, but more than that. So, I mean, I'll go back to something I said to you, Nestor. I mean, look, attendance has gone up. It went up from last year, went up from the year before that. It's gone up. Has it been lucrative? Well, they haven't won anything yet. And I don't mean that to be disparaging to the fact that they won 101 games last year and they won 91 this year. I think enthusiasm would be far different if these two seasons had been flipped, for example, and say the Orioles had snuck in as a wild card last year and then had I think you wouldn't have had any issues with selling playoff tickets this year had that happened. I mean, I think it was a lot of circumstances, bad second half. They absolutely ticked off season ticket holders with raising prices in August and cutting down on some of the amenities. I know I have friends who were Birdland membership people who were ticked, and they are the types that were going to 10 games even when they were lousy. So it was kind of I think it was a series of, I don't want to say unfortunate events because some of that was self-inflicted on their part.
Missteps.
Again, they kind of jacked up the prices before people fully got in to enjoy the meal. Before doing that, I think they kind of jumped the gun a little bit, quite frankly. And I think some of the moves that they're making with business and everything right now and what they might make in terms of the rest of the offseason, who knows? But I think there's a reflection of that. But, yeah, I think Katie Griggs and David Rubenstein and this ownership group looks at what happened there. And I think just like what happened on the field, the key for me for what they're doing on the field and off the field is to react to all of this without overreacting because of what you just said. There is a lot to really like about this baseball team. Yeah, I want to see them win a playoff game, agreed, and make some adjustments.
Well, first things first, Peter's gone. So there is more open possibility.
Right. And as far as off the field, I've seen things be better over the last couple years compared to even where it was 5 years ago. Certainly where it was 10 years ago from an off-the-field perspective, but that doesn't mean there still isn't a lot of work to do. So, again, it's finding that sweet spot between realizing there is good and there is a lot that's going for them right now, but also recognizing, okay, how do we make that better? You and I have talked about this for 2 years now since they basically got good. How do you maximize? How do you raise the ceiling as high as it can possibly go? I've had that long-term pie-in-the-sky vision of the Orioles becoming the St. Louis Cardinals, and not the Cardinals of the last couple of years, but what they've been over the last 25 years. That's not a gigantic market. Go look at the TV shares there. It's more similar to Baltimore than you might think.
And it's also a place that lost its football team.
Right, but it's also
they have a hockey team.
But it's also a team that built a good farm system and spent money wisely and augmented, and they would fluctuate from somewhere between 14th in payroll all the way up to maybe 7th or 8th, given the year.
Now, is that your market, St. Louis? Is that considered where you are?
Texas
in
Rangers.
Arkansas? You get the Rangers in Arkansas, but you can drive to St. Louis faster?
No. Rangers are still closer. Memphis is closer, but I don't even get regional sports network. I have YouTube TV, so I don't even get MLB channel on YouTube TV.
Used to, but yeah.
But if I had when I had DirecTV, I would get the regional sports for Dallas and the Cardinals. So we would have Cardinals games.
I would think you would there would be games. Cardinals fans in Little Rock.
We have
you know what I mean? Like if you're walking around Little Rock, somebody likes baseball.
Oh, there's tons of Cardinals fans.
I mean, I would see that for all of it. So that's what I'm saying. Baltimore doesn't have that anymore. They're not Orioles fans in Richmond anymore or Morgantown, Virginia. Like that's gone.
And again, no one. I don't care how great your vision is or how much you think your mom and your sister and your brother and the neighbor down the street who doesn't watch baseball at all now but will suddenly spend. They're never going to become the Yankees or anything like that. But that said, it can absolutely be better than the Rays or, Cleveland. It's not like they've spent a lot of money on payroll.
That's a similar market.
So again, there's a way to do this, but you've got to hire the right people. Baseball ops and business and just generating relationships in the community and business partnerships and suites and all this stuff. I mean, stuff that I don't know a whole lot about other than to recognize that it's important. And that's why I said all along when Rubenstein and the new group came in, to me it was see what this looks like in the offseason. They're not going to make changes in April.
Well, this is why I'm talking about it here. We're at Pizza John's, by the way. We're doing a Maryland Crab Cake Tour. Luke's here, my dear friend John Keller. We're having some pizza and crab cakes and French fries, and we're promoting our friends at the Maryland Lottery, as well as Jiffy Lube Multi-Care that gets Luke around town, as well as Liberty Pure Solutions, 1-800 Clean Water. By the way, I found that Liberty Pure Solutions does the water here at Pizza John's. That's why the bread tastes so good. So nonetheless, that is true. We found that out in the last segment. Here's where I am. My birthday week. We're going to play a lot of baseball in New York the next 2 weeks, right? They're both in the championship series. Two of them will probably be in the World Series given odds, maybe even against each other. Who knows, right? That conversation is going on there. In St. Louis, they're having a conversation about baseball right now, and in Chicago and in other places. This has been, from a guy who owns a radio station for 26 years, this is right around the time of the year, even when the Orioles are good. Even after Zach Britton, we bitched about that for a week or two, that by my birthday, October 14th, into next week, the Ravens are 4-3, 3-2, 5-2, 4-2, whatever they are around now. It just goes away because baseball goes away. There's a moratorium through the World Series on doing anything. We're not firing our manager. We're not firing our general manager. Probably not signing anybody. Probably not signing Corbin Burns. Probably not doing a $200 million deal. Baseball's Its cadence is to not do anything until the end because all the owners are colluding to not spend any money, right? Like, literally. You got this Oakland eyesore disaster Sacramento thing going on, and then you have the spectacle of maybe Ohtani in the World Series at Yankee Stadium or certainly a World Series, right? So that's going to go till November 3rd. Then that's going to happen. How are the Orioles going to get back into the oxygen of not just Little Rock, Arkansas, where you're on the periphery of it, but on my radio station where you, in the morning on a Tuesday in November, December, say, we got to do an Orioles piece today. We got to talk Orioles today. BAL talks Orioles because they have to talk Orioles because they get paid to do it, and they'll do a Christmas hot stove, and they'll do all of that stuff and do something down at what used to be Dempsey's with whatever new name they have and all that. But 105.7, is Lock and Four going to be doing Oriole stuff in November, December, bitching about them? Probably not, because we'll be on to the next thing. And baseball has been this thing that's allowed itself to go away. Angelos has made it infinitely worse by being awful at everything in the offseason. But then they didn't put their games on in spring training. You know, that feeling like spring training should be the beginning of something, and it's not. And then opening day trudges along, and they have trouble selling those tickets, and the weather's not great, and it's March, and I'm not really ready for baseball, and I haven't heard a lot about it, I haven't felt a lot, and I haven't really seen the team, and I don't even know who Albert Suarez is, even though he was starting that game you and I saw at JetBlue Park back in March. The getting to know you part of the players and the off-season caravans and all that, there's so much more about awareness that they've never done. That I would say our Stockholm Syndrome part of our fan base is it's not even really expected anymore. That anything they do would feel, if we're talking about them in November and December, even if it's bad, it's good because they're in the news. Because they can't just go away and roll the ball out again on March 28th and say it's opening day and it's 48 degrees come. Because of the losses, because of the empty seats, because of the price increase, they need to, I don't say make news, they need to make attention, and they need to be top of mind, and they need to be something that doesn't go away, especially when they've been good. And I've said this. I think it's tough for Adley Rutschman to walk around town this offseason based on how he played, right? I mean, there's a part of being 24 and not playing well and being hurt. He's not living here. None of these guys are living here. They don't spend any time. They'll come back and do a weekend or do an autograph or this or make some money or whatever, see their girlfriend if they got one. But they really have – I've been watching this for 30 years. It has blown me away at the lost opportunity since they did winter carnivals, you know, and we would sell the place out and they'd open the stadium from the club level. People who couldn't afford the club level. You're a little 9-year-old kid. Your dad could take you down there when he's an usher. I feel like there's so much candy and so much low-hanging fruit of just basic involvement that – has to feel different because it's been so awful for so long. And that's my long-winded way of saying, make some news, Katie. I mean, be nice to people. Get out on the street. Like, let's sell the game because they need to sell the game because if we want the team to stay, thrive, have a budget, everybody's got to love them. Your mother has to feel like she has to pay $300 to get them, to get their games because she can't come over to your house and she wants to have the games. And it's that important to her, and it's worth X amount of dollars. I don't know. You tell me how much it will be worth to you to have every Oriole game on your app and how many you really would watch in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And you love the team.
I mean, I subscribe to Peacock now to watch every Liverpool game, and it cost me $7 a month.
$7 a month.
But that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, but
that's an NBC
$84 for your soccer team. You're good with that price.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what would be good in Essex for the price.
Well,
what would make your mother buy? What's the price?
Not to take it too far off track. That model and what Apple TV's done with MLS, I think baseball is going to be at that point at some point, and I don't think it's next year. It's not the year after that, but at some point, and we're seeing this with the RSNs crumbling at this point in time. Major League Baseball has taken over production, and that. So I kind of think that's.
So what's the model? $7 a month for Oriole baseball, for everybody?
Well, if they're doing it a la carte, it's going to have to be way more than that. It's $7.
Right.
It's $7 a month if you get Amazon.
You had $7 a month up for everybody in the world that would possibly subscribe to Oriole baseball, including Arkansas,
but
including.
It's different because Peacock.
And when that money adds up,
Right.
what does it add up to? Not a whole lot.
I mean, Peacock has all the WWE stuff. It's got every NBC show ever created practically on there.
So it is a bundle.
So it's not just you're getting
Right.
just Orioles. You're just getting Liverpool. You're getting everything that they show NBC wise and all other kinds of entertainment. So, I mean, I would probably pay $10 to $20 a month if I could have access to every Orioles game on my phone or iPad.
For 6 months or 12? Because that's another
For the
thing.
season. For the season.
Right? I mean, so it sounds like a lot if it's $25 a month, but it's only 6 months. Right?
I mean,
so you're paying a buck and a half.
If it's not
$1 a game.
But I also think the interesting part of this is you got to think about the price point that people who have held on to satellite and cable because of Masson, and I know that they just this past season they offered it on Fubo TV. It's on DirecTV streaming service. So they are branching out a little bit in terms of streaming services offering Masson. But keep in mind, like my satellite bill is $100. I mean, it's a lot of money. And I'll be totally honest with you, I'm not sure if I would have that specific service if the Orioles didn't exist and it wasn't, the Orioles were on something else, for example. I certainly
in the way
wouldn't.
the NFL people went to DirecTV.
So
right?
that's where you look at it from the standpoint of they probably can charge more than you would think per month for a direct-to-consumer model, which some teams have. The Blue Jays, I think, do that, for example. I mean, it's Canada, it's Toronto. I mean, they have a entire country that they can market to.
With the Northern Lights.
But I do think when you look at where the price points are for those fans who are just holding on, it's higher, but at the same time, for people who have just cut the cord and said, well, like John, for example, where he catches a game when he can, and maybe if it works out and it's on Fox one Saturday, great, but
there's no Tuesday night game against the Twins that you feel like I have to see.
But what is that price that's somewhere more than $7, but isn't so much where he's going to continue
I'm really wondering where that is. And I keep thinking there's something for your mother and your family that says, give us $800 this year. You get the games on TV for free, and you get the 13-game pass. Like that would be part of the Birdland membership, that if you're buying tickets and you're an experiential fan, that the bundling of the game would be, I spent $1,000 on tickets this year. Give me the games on TV for free. Right. That there's going to be that part. That to me is going to be the Orange Club. That's how they're going to get people in.
But I still think a major point here. And look, and this isn't exclusive to Baltimore. It's every market. Fans are bandwagon jumpers. I mean, they are. Like, look. The diehards are a much smaller
percentage. They better not lose. That's my point. My point is
they need to win. This is losing. Getting swept in the wild card round is not winning. I mean, we're at a point now where you have 6 teams make it. I mean, we're rapidly approaching what the NBA is.
You're now competing. You're not winning.
Right. So, and I don't say that to be disparaging. My point is, unless you really want this thing to pop and explode, and we all saw this in 2000 with the Ravens. Like, don't get me wrong, there was enthusiasm for the Ravens, but it got to the point where my dad and I had friends who had businesses who had season tickets that we would get free tickets all the time in 98, 99. That changed after 2000, and suddenly we didn't get free tickets anymore, which was fine. Like, I understood that. But, I mean, think about this. Forget about the World Series for a moment, as we're going to be going on 42 years next year since Baltimore's last World Series appearance. 2014, 1997, 1996. In 40-plus years, they have only made 3 appearances in the ALCS. They haven't won anything. So I agree with everything you're saying. And yes, there are things they can do to recruit people. In fact, I think one thing that they've done a way better job of over the last couple of years is their social media and some of their video production. It's not on par with what the stuff that the Ravens do with their video team and the amazing content that they churn out, but it's trending more towards that. I think that's that is a great arm to recruit people in the offseason, knowing that, okay, you're not going to get these guys to come in every weekend to go shake hands and kiss babies at every part of town, but there are ways that you can keep them engaged virtually that you can then put on social media and have ways to engage with fans. And, hey, what's Gunnar Henderson up to in the offseason? Hey, what's Jackson Holliday up to in the offseason? Again, I'm not saying that that's the end-all, be-all, but there are ways to do that. And I agree that they need to continue to recruit and continue to put the pedal to the metal, but I still don't think it's going to really, truly pop until you see October success. That's just the truth. And, look, that doesn't mean anyone who's listening right now who's a diehard that went to 35 games this year, I'm not talking about that.
Well, you talk about San Diego this week. That happened because of what they did a couple years ago, right?
They already have that.
Same thing in Philadelphia. They've won.
You're talking about the new people. Like, you need more champagne celebrations. Like, in October, not just making it, but celebrating something in October. You need
more than one run over 2 games.
You need a parade.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. Like, I don't say that. Again, I'm not being dismissive of what they've done to this point. Mike Elias has done a fantastic job getting it to this point. But now, that's why I said, how do you react without overreacting? Yeah. You know, they've made some coaching changes. Ryan Fuller, one of their hitting coaches, is not coming back. Their bench coach, one of their other coaches. We're going to see some roster changes. I mean, we're going to see that. But that doesn't mean you blow everything up and start firing people left and right either, right? I mean, there's a happy medium here. But, again, for everything you're talking about in terms of getting to whatever the ceiling could possibly be here, and let's just say it's the St. Louis Cardinals over the last 25 years. I've used that example a long time now. St. Louis Cardinals won multiple World Series, and they were winning pennants, and they were playing in the NLCS on the regular.
And laying down roots that, quite frankly, have never been laid here with the Angelos family.
Sure.
The missed opportunities of Cal Ripken and Brooks Robinson, all of that.
Of course.
The missed opportunity of Camden Yards, really.
Well, right, exactly. And think about this. I mean, the Ravens playing the Commanders this past week, right? I mean, everything with Daniel Snyder, and you think about what the Redskins were in the 80s and the early 90s. They've been completely irrelevant on the field since then.
And Hells can't get a ticket on Sunday because it's $300 now.
Right.
Their fans are that engaged.
They're excited.
But
at the same time, if Jaden Daniels is a half-a-year wonder, or heaven forbid something that happens to him to what happened to RG3, it'll be right back to everyone not caring again. It's fleeting.
And the Ravens won't have that problem.
You need sustained success to really make this thing truly pop in the way that you're talking. And again, that doesn't mean you just sit on your hands and say, okay, well, hopefully they win next year. No, I'm not saying that at all, but that's still the driving force here. My mom doesn't ask me about the Orioles whatsoever when they're middling. Or, maybe when they're really bad, she would ask me, like, how are they so bad? But, when she does ask me? When they're playing really well and they're showing up on national TV games more often, as we saw them on Sunday Night Baseball a couple times this year. So,
that way Hells can watch them.
Yeah. so and look, it's simplistic, but it's not simplistic. I understand that, but
I hope we're talking more about it all season. Hells, I know you got to go because we got to get you to Coco's. Any parting shot here from being a guy who loves Baltimore and doesn't live here, and you're probably never going to live here again. I'm committed to the fact that I only get to see you when I get to see you as one of my best pals. But and it's great to have you here on my birthday, the whole deal. But you are the guy that went to Arkansas. You become an Arkansas fan, and you're into your soccer and all that. But you've taken Baltimore with you,
definitely,
even though you're not coming back.
I mean, I love the Orioles and Ravens. The Orioles got to sell the brand. I mean, they have to be aggressive in the community and, hit every business they can hit and really be aggressive and sell the heck out of that brand. It's a great brand. It's just as good as the Cardinals brand.
Luke wants an orange hat, right? Well, I mean, you talk about the thing being on fire with the Ravens. I'm thinking you get off a plane and see Orioles stuff everywhere, and there's orange pop-up tents. If the Orioles were in the ALCS right now, would there be pop-up tents selling, Orioles guy? The Ravens were that way. Was that ubiquitous? I don't know that baseball can be that way, given where it is.
And let me be clear. That's something. That is a point I did want to make when you talked about all these sports go away, other than the NFL. Now, the NBA has carved out late June and early July with free agency. Even though
The NHL doesn't go away because they played till July and pick back
sure.
up again in September.
But the point, I mean, the NFL has made a tentpole event out of the schedule release, for goodness sake.
Right.
Now, I'm not suggesting that Major League Baseball can do that, although probably would be better to do it.
They've done better with the draft, though.
They've done well. They have. They
Yeah.
have. But the point is, some of that is just like we only compare it to the Ravens because that's all that's here from a
Right.
pro sports standpoint. With all due respect to the Blast or smaller, smaller sports. But so there's some of that. But yeah, they have to recruit people. I agree. And look, I'm not going to say you can get Gunnar Henderson here every weekend in the off season, but boy, if you can get him here a few, and you can turn that into whatever Fan Fest, Winter Carnival, however you want to do it. Yeah, they've done the caravans in recent years, but that's been much
Stale.
That's been smaller scale. I have some friends who went to some of those. They enjoyed it, but it was smaller scale, right? So they do need to think bigger. And Katie Griggs and the new ownership team and all of that. Yeah, this needs to become way more big league. Okay, it's not the NFL, and it's not going to be what the Ravens have been for a quarter century now. I mean, they have a heck of a head start on them compared to what the Orioles diminished into over the last 4 decades. But, think big and hustle. I mean, they got to hustle, but ultimately, again, it still has to show up on the field. They need to have
I'm going to keep saying that it's chicken and egg because all of this hustle and selling tickets is what's going to make that product on the field sustainable financially.
Yes.
Financially.
Sustainable, yes, but I'm saying that you've got to win to bring people in the door. Again,
I think they've done a nice job of winning the last 2 years.
They have, and like I said, if
You would go to an Oriole game this weekend if they were home. You want to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll go
you
back
would come
to
to Baltimore, not go to an
if the
Oriole game.
last 2 years had been flipped, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
But you wouldn't have felt
to
that way
this
5
degree.
years ago when they were stunk.
No,
you
no.
would say, I'm not going over there.
I mean, I've went to games when they were terrible. I mean, I would always go to a game if there was an opportunity and it was affordable.
Well, you don't
and
live here
everything.
anymore, too,
That's
so
what I
it's
mean.
rare, right?
Well, I went to the Orioles team store earlier at the ballpark.
Today?
Yeah, and it was sad to see racks and racks of October
Playoff stuff,
Playoff
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, you
I mean,
were
they
there
have tons of
today.
it. Yeah, they have
Wow.
tons of it.
That's the wild card round.
Yeah.
See,
Bad
he's in
27
Baltimore 12
at the same
hours,
time.
and he's
Enough time to
already
sell it,
visited
yeah.
Camden Yards and the gift shop. Like, that's who you are. That's why I brought you on. That's why you were the guy I called 33 years ago when I didn't have anybody to talk to.
And it was sad. The crazy thing is the Ravens don't even have a shop open down there during when there's not a game.
I didn't know that.
There's no shop open. The Orioles, I was surprised at the actual Orioles, but I think it's more of the warehouse being open.
I think it's
because
just
there's
they
businesses
have
there.
it
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But our friend who traveled from Arkansas, she's a Lamar Jackson fan. We need people. The Orioles
She wants a
need-
jersey.
Yeah, she's Lamar Jackson.
She's talked to me about it, yeah.
He transcends like sports around the country. The Orioles have stars, but they don't have Lamar Jackson kind of stardom. And we need that.
Baseball needs
That's
more.
what I'm saying. Baseball,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
But it had Mike Trout.
specifically the Orioles.
Shohei, right? Yeah.
Shohei's as close as
Shohei,
it gets,
yeah.
and he's had to be this unbelievable, historic, generational player who
To
does
get noticed.
both
Yeah.
to garner any attention, right? And he's playing in a big market, albeit on the West Coast, but
Yeah.
still.
All right, Luke Jones, John Keller, my friend Hells. We have French fries and gravy proper here at Pizza John's. We have Raven scratch-offs. I'm going to be giving these away over in the dining area. And, of course, my favorite pizza, the newly named Dundalk Venezuelan Hawaiian pizza, which is the Hawaiian pizza with pineapple and ham and pepperoni and Essex. Back River Neck Road, 687-7733. Make sure you're taking care of our friends here. Our friends at the Maryland Lottery, as well as Jiffy Lube Multi-Care, Curio Wellness in Far and Dodder, and last but never least, Liberty Pure Solutions and 1-800 Clean Water. Making the water clean here at Pizza John's. That makes my bread taste so good and the pizza taste so good as well. On behalf of Brett, my pal Leonard Raskin and Raskin Global and everybody here, and your wife Jackie and her girlfriend for coming down, Dean for stopping by here in Essex, and Michelle and Sharon and everybody here at Pizza John's are making it great. Signing off from Pizza John's, it is the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. Yes, they have a crab cake at Pizza John's. Pretty delicious, too. I'm back for more on WNST. It is a Tampa Bay week. We'll have plenty of football ahead with Luke. Stay with us.